Q2 was a bit tricky, when to go on the slicks, and then doing the lap on the slick tires, and then it started raining again towards the end. So it was a lot about just communication with the team, right, to make the right calls. And I think we did that well today.
How are you feeling about tomorrow? You've got someone slightly different next to you on the front row, Nico Hülkenberg, but Fernando Alonso just behind you.
Yeah, there's still quite a lot of fast cars quite close to me. So we'll see what we have tomorrow. But I think we made some good improvements on the car. Tomorrow, of course, it's going to be quite grey, I guess, and a bit cloudy, and a bit colder. But I think it should be okay.
We're on the right tires at the right moment. Timing was good today. Also in Q3, red flag, kind of was lucky for us because I just finished my second lap, which put me in P2. Because before I think I was pretty much not anywhere. It's going to be super, super difficult if it's dry. I've not really run much yesterday in the dry, so that makes it extra difficult.
Probably the red flag was in the wrong moment, and probably P2 was possible, but nevertheless I think P3 is good, the starting position for tomorrow. A podium possibility for sure for us if we do things well, and some of our competitors are behind us, and Checo out of top 10 and Charles as well, so there is an opportunity tomorrow.
This is a good start for us, I think. The most difficult conditions out there, trying to get the temperature into the tyres. Obviously there's not many high-speed corners, so it's difficult to generate temperature. I was hoping for more, naturally, but we'll take it, and from there we can work on moving. Hopefully we can move forward from there.
I think after FP3, P5 I probably would have taken. I think there was a bit more there. We definitely performed better when the track was drier, and then when the track got wetter in Q3, the car wasn't quite as competitive, and to be honest, when I crossed the line I was surprised to end up in that position, to be honest. So good place to start for tomorrow. Race pace is good. We've only got Fernando in front of us, who I think will be our challenger. Max is obviously going to be probably in a league of his own out there tomorrow. So let's bring it on.
I think it's been a superb qualifying. Looking at how our Friday has been, how our FP3 has been. We didn't do any running pretty much. We didn't have any inter-running this morning, so no preparation, and we also used for 2 laps one of the allocation that we needed for qualifying. So signing in Q3 already was a relief, but being P6 is something special. So well done to everyone at the team. We did everything we needed to do today, and it has paid off.
There's no reason why we shouldn't have been P2, I guess, today after the first lap. I think only Max and maybe one other person got 2 laps in at the end. But I just didn't do a good enough first lap, and if the red flag was 30 seconds later, I would have been P2. So, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I just didn't do a good enough job in the end of the day in Q3.
How are you feeling about prospects tomorrow in a slightly drier track, by the looks of it?
If it's dry, I'm not very hopeful. If it's wet, I'll be a bit more hopeful.
I think overall, reasonably happy. Obviously a shame to end the way it did, but I'm not sure how much further up we could have got on the grid, to be honest. So not too disappointed. Obviously disappointed in myself for causing extra work for the mechanics and stuff. So apologies to the team. But to have both of us in Q3 again is really encouraging. And I really enjoyed my first quali session in Canada. It certainly threw everything it could at us.
I'm happy. I feel like I'm a bit annoyed of myself for the Q3 run. Honestly, I don't know if I would have changed much the position, but it would have been nice to just at least finish the lap. I think if you look at it in a positive way, I think we did the quickest lap time in qualifying.
We heard you, I think, called for soft tyres. The team said no.
Yeah. There's nothing to add to that. I'm very frustrated with the qualifying. Not everything is in that, obviously, because some others did exactly the same thing and still went through Q3, but we are just making our life so much more difficult. So it's I'm very frustrated now, and honestly we need to improve and do a step forward, otherwise we are always going to be disappointed. So we need to improve now.
Happy with the recovery, through Q1 and Q2, managing to put some good laps, even in a very tricky conditions. Obviously, lacking a bit of confidence after the crash, but happy with my slick laps in Q2. Then Q3, I think it was a bit of a lottery when the rain came and we couldn't set a competitive lap, so we are down in P8. But it's how it goes sometimes in these conditions.
I think you've got to go and see the stewards for impeding. What's your kind of view on that? Pierre was pretty upset with what happened.
Yeah, I think we all were impeding each other today. I got impeded 7 times, but then there's some people that get investigated, others not, and it's sometimes just very difficult to understand.
When we went onto the slick, it was just a lap that it started raining, and I needed a lap to get the tire in the temperature in the working range, and then it started raining, and then we switched into the intermediate. So it was just a bit half a lap to 1 lap, a bit too late to get that lap in.
Tricky conditions out there. We saw you had a moment, and did you just get away with it? Was there a little bit of contact? Couldn't quite see.
Yeah, there was some contact. We changed the wing, went back out, but just were on the wrong tires at the wrong time at that point of the session, and that was like kind of the end of it for us.
Did you guys make the right decisions out there?
No.
What kind of went wrong, do you think?
Yeah, we were in the pit when the track was dry, and we were in these conditions. We were looking very good, and we just didn't execute.
Where was the pace today in those very tricky conditions?
I still believe top 10. Just I think I'm lucky with the timings in Q2. Like we went for the slicks, then it started raining back to the inter, so yeah, just a bit messy out there, but it is always a bit of a gamble on these conditions.
It's a frustration, but at the same time I didn't have pace at all, like FP3. Just a completely different condition, maybe didn't help at all, but still, like from beginning onwards, I didn't have pace as much as FP3 I had. So we have to figure out why, and hopefully we will be better situation tomorrow, and try to get a point.
I'm absolutely gutted, and what Carlos did is unacceptable. It was so dangerous. I'm coming at 300. Bare minimum is to get out of the line, impede me, put both of ourselves in extremely dangerous position if I, smash him at that speed, and it was completely unnecessary. So that lap will put me in P6. Even if he impede me by 2-3 tenths, we'll still be within the top 10. And today it just ruined our qualifying. So I have no word for it.
It was very challenging for everybody. Obviously, track was drying throughout, and initially we kind of planned to do one long run, but as the track was ramping up quickly, we decided to box towards the end, and then you have like 2 laps to do the job. And obviously there was a lot of traffic management, backing up in the last sector, which wasn't easy, but it was the same game and battle for everyone. Ultimately we didn't quite do a good enough job. I think I personally undershoot it a little bit, and in those conditions when the track is ramping up so quickly and drying out, it pays out in big differences.
Never felt like I had any rear grip. Just felt like I was overheating the tire from the out lap. Weird, frustrating, because I feel like in the full wet conditions it felt pretty good. But once it started drying out, just didn't have much.
It was quite messy. Like the moment I left the pit, I kind of lost the drive, and almost having a lot anti-stall. The engine was almost wanted to die and switch off, and I don't know exactly what's going on, but I haven't had the proper feedback yet from the team. But got to a point, the car stopped basically, and then somehow managed just to bring it back and made it out. But I'm not sure if the problem was clear or fixed yet. So that was a tricky session out there. I just didn't really, it wasn't a clean session, no rhythm, and something was a bit strange